Do you enjoy being punished? Well, the Souls-like genre has the perfect games for you. Hello, my name is Gamera and welcome to my 10 upcoming PC Souls-like games in 2021 and 2022 list. Now, every year I make a set of big, comprehensive gaming lists to keep people in the know, but this one is more of just a taste, since not everyone wants 40-minute epic compilations of 70+ games. These are just some notable ones I've found, and maybe you'll find something new as well. Though let me know which game I don't mention and you think deserves to be included, and maybe next year I'll do a big list for this genre. Alright, now let's get started. First up, we have Dolmen by Massive Work Studios. Now at first glance, this is a sci-fi one, and generally that's kind of rare in this genre. Here we have, as you could say, a third-person action game with RPG elements, which is a very loose definition of what a Souls-like is. But this is going to be including sci-fi and cosmic horror, mixed in an engrossing gameplay experience, they say. What this game is promising is strategic and dynamic combat, intense melee combat, of course, that's a given with the Souls-like genre. Smart range combat, where you use your ranged weapons' elemental shots to cause debuffs on enemies. Energy management, where you'll be limited in terms of how much you can do with your ranged weapons. And there's energy mode for your melee weapons to empower them further. And of course, with all the Souls-like on this list, you can expect challenging enemies and gruesome bosses, with exploration of an intricate environment. This particular one promises different kinds of vegetal life infesting the ecosystem of Revion Prime. It sounds very sci-fi. As you uncover the truth by finding and connecting each piece of the lost alphabet in this galaxy, you'll be surviving, crafting weapons and armor after harvesting materials from dead bodies, and leveling up. With a planned release date sometime in 2021, but nothing specific right now, Dolmen should be on the way and looks pretty interesting, going in the sci-fi direction, kind of like Elex, which by the way, Elex 2 is supposedly in production as well, but we've got no details on that. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Next up, we've got Chrono Odyssey by Npixel. Now, this one is calling itself a next-gen fantasy MMORPG, which will be coming to PCs and consoles and mobile, notably, with testing scheduled for 2021 and a release sometime in 2022, so it's going to be a little while before we can play this. However, this one is looking kind of interesting from what we've seen, where at least from the trailer, it looks like there's quite a bit of production values and intense, deliberate combat, big bosses in an Asian fantasy style. So this could be very, very good if it is actually as exciting and compelling as the trailer makes it out to be, but you never know how this is gonna go. It coming to mobile as well will give people some mixed reactions because, you know how mobile games can be, though we have been getting some pretty popular mobile games coming out of Asia recently, notably Genshin Impact. And an MMO Souls-like game, well, it could be pretty interesting. But I'm not going to say too much about this right now since not so much is confirmed. Testing is going to be continuing this year, and then we'll see how that goes. Moving on, it's a Shattered Tale of the Forgotten King by Redlock Studio. This one's looking a little bit simpler on the visual style, though it does have kind of its own sort of style going for it as well. The old world is gone, lost with the disappearances of the king, and you have to reforge reality in this dark Souls-like with skill-based combat, promising innovative open-world platforming, and ethereal exploration and epic battles. This is in early access on Steam since mid-2019 with few but mostly positive reviews, so it's got some niche appeal at least, and it's been going through development relatively well, though it has to be said that it will stay in early access until it's done, so this could be done soon or maybe a little bit longer. Anyway, it's promising a new world to discover, monstrous enemies to defeat, a story supposedly 10 years in the making, which might make it good but not necessarily so, and constant progression as you go through the game with new weapons, increasing of spell casting, and you'll need to do this with finite resources, so how you progress is up to you. Overall, it seems pretty decent, and you can check it out now since it's in early access. If you want to know more, just have a look at it. And then you can decide what you think properly about Shattered, Tale of the Forgotten King. Next up, we've got Bleak, Faith Forsaken by Miso, Vukcevic and Mirko, Stanic. Now, this one is looking pretty interesting, and there's quite a bit of gameplay footage for it on their YouTube channel, so you can go have a closer look if you like. And from the looks of things, it's a pretty vertical environment you'll be exploring in these abandoned ruins of cities, where you'll be able to traverse rooftops and scale walls as you encounter dark enemies. Combat is of course deliberate, and you'll be looting bodies as you find your way through. But besides that, this game is actually kinda hard to describe, so hopefully the footage on the screen gives you the gist of it. The developers aren't really putting up too much information out there besides on their Discord, so if you want to keep up with this game, you can join them over there. And I don't want to be describing it in too much detail because since they are still developing the game and overhauling and changing things, what the combat mechanics and everything might actually be at the end of the day could be different. As most of their gameplay footage says that they still have a lot to iron out and polish and refine and all of that. But the environments alone and the vertical traversal seem to be a big selling point for Bleak, Faith Forsaken, so if you like how it looks, go ahead and have a closer look and join them on the Discord if you want to know more about it. Going 2D pixel art, we have EITR by Eneme Entertainment. This is an interesting looking one. I'm personally always a big fan of pixel art, though I know not everyone is. But EITR is looking pretty great, and 2D Souls-likes aren't all that common, though they are getting more common actually, now that I think about it. And of course, in Souls-like fashion, you're traversing a dark world, fighting monstrous enemies, big bosses, and all of that. And this one is set within a mythological Norse world. Featuring a unique isometric perspective will be different for the combat as you play a shield maiden, and you'll be able to use a variety of weapons with strategic movements, accurate arrow strikes, enchanted special attacks, as you tear your way through nightmarish creatures and profane warriors lurking through the corrupted 9 realms. The experience system is something of a unique selling point, replacing the traditional experience point structures of an action RPG with a favor system, which requires a choice between permanent level upgrades and more powerful but fleeting perks that can be bestowed upon death. So leveling an experience is now split between permanent upgrades and temporary ones, it sounds like. And of course you'll be collecting randomly generated loot from fallen enemies and hidden caches. Though to note, the penalty for death is that your items may suffer damage after you perish in combat. So this one's looking very good if you like the 2D approach and if you like pixel art, and to be honest, the pixel art is actually pretty well designed. So if you're a fan, then you can definitely check out EITR. Staying 2D, we have Eldest Souls by Fallen Flag Studios. In the beginning, there were gods. Long imprisoned and forgotten in the temples of the Citadel, they have siphoned the life essence from the world in their final act of vengeance. You, a lone knight, embarks on a quest to slay those gods and restore balance. Continuing the pixel art approach, Eldest Souls is promising to be a challenging boss rush game, where you will be slaying the old gods in a dying world. Dying worlds are a big theme in this. I think it does come from the whole Souls-like thing. It just goes, doesn't it? There's something very alive about dead worlds. You will be progressing and adapting through every encounter, and all of the old gods will be unique, delivering new challenges. As you kill the gods, you'll claim their power, unlocking various talents and abilities, so as you slay them all, you get more and more powerful. So overall, at a glance, this does seem to be more straightforward kind of Souls-like game, but it does seem to have quite a lot going for it. Planning to release in Q2 of 2021, we should be seeing Eldest Souls relatively soon. And seeing the gameplay footage, you probably know if you want to get into this or not already. Staying isometric, but a little bit more 3D, kind of. It's Alaloth Champions of the Four Kingdoms by Gamera Interactive. This one's set in a vibrant fantasy world, and Alaloth offers fast-paced action with a deep narrative, bringing ARPG dynamics to a new level with skill-based gameplay. As you can see, the combat here is what really sets it apart. You'll be mastering a unique hardcore combat system, so even though it's more of an action RPG, it's still very deliberate with how you play. So start off by customizing your character, choosing different ways of powers, classes, and skills as you explore, craft, gain reputation, and unlock new quests. There will be 4 playable races, human, elves, dwarves, and orcs, so nothing too unique there, but 40 plus houses and clans to fight for, each with their own history, so you'll have your own legacy in the 4 kingdoms after the first playthrough. There's also going to be 12 memorable companions with their own backstories ready to join or fight you during your journey. So this is more of an RPG approach to the Souls-like genre, though combat being as it is still pretty much a Souls-like game, the way it plays, the way you fight, and the replayability. Though this game does bring up some questions on what exactly is a Souls-like game. Like, what does it actually need? Does it need to be... Do you need to drop souls on your death? Do you need to, like, how much RPG elements makes it too much of an RPG? Or how much action makes it too actiony? The definition of what a Souls-like is always very tricky, but Alaloth, Champions of the 4 Kingdoms, is very interesting regardless, and I think you'll be interested in checking it out anyway. Going back to full 3D, we have Mortal Shell by Cold Symmetry. This one is looking very exciting and very actiony, though it does still look pretty much like a Souls-like game. Calling itself a deep action RPG that tests your sanity and resilience in a shattered world, your survival will demand superior awareness, precision, and instincts. As you possess lost warriors, track down hidden sanctums of the devout, and face formidable foes. The possessing of lost warriors means the dead litter the tattered landscape, and you awaken these mortal shells, as you could say, occupying their bodies and significantly opening your abilities to diversify your combat. You will be facing haunting foes, devoted to inscrutable gods, and creatures both pitiable and grotesque. And what's making it most like a Souls-like is the combat, which is strategic and deliberate. You must commit your sword only when an opportunity opens, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. So this one is looking rather actiony, as if you see some of the footage. It's got a lot of special moves, a lot of explosions, fantasy, particle effects, and all of that. And it's quite fast-paced, so despite it being deliberate combat, you're going to need very fast reflexes. Which is always a risk with Souls-like gameplay, because Souls-like games tend to have that rhythm thing going. A lot of people say Dark Souls and Bloodborne are more like rhythm games than action RPGs. So it'd be interesting to see if Mortal Shell can keep that sense of rhythm with such a fast pace, with so much going on. Release is set for 2021 if there are no delays, so you can go ahead and check out Mortal Shell and then see what it's like later in the year. Next we got one from Japan called Project Awakening by Cygames. The trailer of this game shows quite a beautiful world, overgrown ruins, and a large creature for you to fight. And it looks pretty good, though have to always remember this is a trailer, so we don't know if actual gameplay is gonna look like this. It looks a little pre-rendered at many times, but you know, you never know. We can hope. The screenshots look good, and besides that, unfortunately, we don't have too much information on Project Awakening. It's got quite a bit of attention, but besides some screenshots and the trailer, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see what Project Awakening is, and with a name like Project Awakening, its name will probably change in the future as well. So I wouldn't expect this in 2021, though 2022 is very plausible. And it might turn out to be something very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on it and then see how it goes. And for the final game, I'm gonna have to, of course, mention the one that you probably already know about if you're looking up this list. It's Elden Ring by FromSoftware. This is FromSoftware, the creators of Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So we can expect Elden Ring to be more like those games. They did do Sekiro, though word is that they're going back towards a Dark Souls and Bloodborne approach, and there will be character customization and an open world larger than anything they've done before. J.R.R. Martin is supposedly helping to write the story of the game, which might be good, might not, we never know. And unfortunately, another one besides the pre-rendered cinematic trailer, we don't actually know what Elden Ring is gonna be about. We see some magical smithing in a dark room, we see a warrior putting on an arm, and then a lot of limbs, and a big guy who seems to have been defeated. So we can expect something like Dark Souls from this game, and the trailer gives off a bit of the ethos of what it could feel like. Though it's been years since the announcement and we still don't have any details or gameplay footage, so it's just another one to watch, Elden Ring by FromSoftware. And there we go, that's 10 PC Souls-like games coming up in 2021 onwards. Of course, it's not an all-encompassing comprehensive list of everything, so which games do you think deserve a mention? Also, if you do want comprehensive lists, I do 6 big ones every year that you can find at gamezack.com/lists, or just click the link in the pinned comment down below, or click the buttons on the screen for a ton more content, from old nostalgic gaming to new game encounters. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it and found it useful, and I'll see you in the next video.